Welcome to Tribe Talk, ladies and gentlemen. We have Troy Phillips. This could go anywhere, this podcast. I've got a few questions, but I'm not even sure I'm going to ask them, Troy. What's going on in your head right now?
Well, thanks for having me, mate. I'm actually...
Did you rehearse that? You've rehearsed that already.
I want to try to keep it at least PG, the whole podcast.
Right. Possible?
Well, I was a bit pissed off I wasn't number one, and I would have moved the needle early, but you find yourself where you are. So you finally got me on.
Number 10. We just thought, you know what, we'll let the first 9 go, and then we'll surge at 10.
Yeah. No one's moved the needle yet, have they?
Gielan was on. He was good.
Yeah.
Luke Gielan.
He's in good shape at the moment for his 50th.
Well.
He's got a six-pack.
Yep.
I've never met a good bloke with a six-pack.
Do you know what he's done with his nutrition?
He's probably
One thing.
What?
Rather than have bourbon and Coke, he's having bourbon and Diet Coke.
Yeah, and he went to Turkey as well.
Did he? Anyway.
He spent 3 weeks in Turkey getting a whole lot of cosmetic surgery done. But don't tell anyone. It's a secret.
Did he? That's great.
Yeah, he just missed out on the teeth because it was a longer recovery time.
Excellent. I like it. All right. So we've got you on because you're an interesting person. You've got an opinion on most things. What have you got? What have you got an opinion on at the moment, currently in life?
I've got a lot of opinions, but as I say, opinions are like arseholes. Do you know? Funny you asked that. I was just thinking about something, and this is for the listeners. This isn't pre-rehearsed. My opinions on free-to-air TV and news, like we seem to be getting bombarded with news, but I look at the news cycle now, free-to-air. None of it's focused on Australia. And the other thing that really pisses me off is that most of the people almost look the same, and they've all got the same education. If you notice, you go on, they're all.
You say the people look the same.
The people on our
presenters,
on our news on the three free-to-air stuff. Well, you don't even
Channel 9.
Channels 9 or 7. I don't know, does Channel 10 still exist?
No.
But I think our news and our current affairs in Australia is pathetic.
Really? What do we focus on overseas?
I just think they focus on clickbait that just enrages people. So people get up in the morning and they watch, the news, and they go to bed at night and watch the news and a current affair. And I think they're worse off for it. They're probably better off switching off. That's what was
What did it used to be 10, 20 years ago?
Well, I think it was journalism. And I think now they think they're journalists, but I think if you find they all go to Charles Sturt University, they all do the same course, they've all got the same mentors. No one actually thinks outside the box. But you asked me that's what was going through my head about 15 minutes ago.
Wow.
There's a lot goes through this head, though.
Where did you grow up? Talk to us about that.
Mate, I grew up in the Southern Shire.
Right,
yeah, I grew up in Sylvania Waters, but not on a waterfront, just in Snowy Place, which was a wonderful place to grow up. Sylvania Waters, just Snowy Place, now Richmond Avenue there.
Yeah.
So that was a good spot to grow up.
Went to school locally?
No, I did start locally. I went to Sylvania Heights Public.
Right.
Mum always said she sent me there because she was pregnant with my sister.
Yeah.
It might have been an affordability issue, I don't know. And my first class, I got moved to Mater Dei at Blakehurst, the local convent school, which was over the bridge. But I think, obviously, what they would say I was neurodivergent, but definitely I had some sort of ADHD or something. They would have medicated me. It was always, I think so. So I think 2 people got moved off to Minerva Street, and I reckon I would have been number 3 on that list. And I think Mum and Dad wised up and got me out of there, over to Mater Dei at Blakehurst, which was a wonderful place to go.
Was that like an alternate school, or was that?
No, that was just a little convent Catholic school, and I sort of started to thrive there.
Okay. From year
second class I went over there.
Thriving from year 2.
Yeah, I
school.
Yeah, I found it.
How were you thriving in year 2 at primary school? Well, what were you doing? What does thriving look like?
Well, obviously they realised I was a nuisance in class, so there was a bloke called Mr. Flynn. So myself and another bloke, a mate of mine, got put on incinerator duty, cleaning the bin. So I had my shoulder to the wheel pretty early at that school. And looking back, when you're young, you think you're really special, but I was special in a different way. But I sort of found my way out of that somehow. You know. Non-medicated, but...
Ever been medicated for ADHD?
No, never.
Diagnosed?
No. April diagnosed me, if that counts for anything, my wife.
April's Troy's wife.
Yeah, she's diagnosed me with plenty of other things as well. But, so that was I just had a pretty bog standard...
What was your first job as a teenager? You struck me as a guy that had a job when he was 11.
No, I didn't. I couldn't find one. I worked in my grandfather's factory over at Carlton. It was a big electrical supplies place.
Yep.
And I did a bit of storm and packering in the school holidays. My dad dragged me out to do that.
At what age?
About year 10.
Yep.
Couldn't get a job at McDonald's for love nor money.
Because?
I didn't know anyone. It was a cliquey place, and I don't know if I would have been good at tossing burgers. I don't know if I would have been very good at it. I don't think I would have been good at all. I've been hopeless.
Right.
The only thing I really wanted to do was be a stockbroker.
Right.
So I went, my mum pushed me to go along and do work experience there for nothing in 2 school holidays.
Yeah.
Smartly, that I did work out that a bloke from the Southern Shire, in those days it was like stockbroking, sort of like being a blacksmith these days. But one, it was an old school tie. So I realised pretty quickly it was us and them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't one of them. And I
What do you mean by that?
Well, it was very clicky. It was an old school tie. It was like a lot of North Shore, that old,
right.
that big stockbroker belt up there.
Yep.
In those days, I'm talking like,
hard to break into.
Yeah, very hard to break into.
Yep.
So I never got into that, which luckily
was
enough.
that year 10 work experience?
That was year 11. I went along for nothing for a while and worked at this company called McDougall & Co., which was so small it was probably in a lift well in Hunter Street.
Right. So you did year 11 and 12?
Yeah, I did year 11 and 12. And then I found I actually wanted to go to teachers college.
Right.
Only because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I thought, well, sitting around and going with my mates and drinking piss and doing nothing would be a bit of fun over at that Catholic Teachers College at Strathfield. I think my dad stepped in. He said, "You're not going there. If you feel that way in 12 months, you can go to Teachers College." So I got a job at Westpac out of school and then studied part-time then. Yeah, that's how it started. But I wanted to wear a tie. I knew I wanted to wear a tie to work.
So for all the listeners, like the industry that you've been in over the last, 35 years?
Yeah, 30 years, yeah. Banking and finance generally.
Yeah, and that's how you started?
That's how I started.
At Westpac at age 18 or something?
Yeah, 18, yeah.
What were you doing, like the teller?
Oh, yeah, like encoding checks, doing, I wasn't even a teller. I had to work my way up to a teller.
Yeah.
And, went right through the gamut there. But that was pretty good. I didn't mind that. Coming from an all-boys school to that, it was a pretty tough upbringing then. Like,
what was the all-boys school?
It was Morris Brothers at Cogra.
Yeah.
So that was pretty.
Did you make the rugby league team in year 12?
Yeah, I was average, mate. Right. I was just bog standard.
Okay.
Like you and your brother, but
excellent.
I didn't play one first grade game, so
two.
You've two. One trials don't count.
Every time. So tell me about what happened. Westpac, you're 18.
Yeah,
the
Westpac.
Next 10 years, and then the 20s and 30s and 40s.
It was a grind, mate.
Like, how did that all work?
Well, you don't leave school. You don't leave school saying I want to go into banking and finance. I wanted to fund airports and tollways and go into investment banking.
Yes.
And I realised I always had a pretty good eye. I knew what I was good at, what I wasn't good at.
What were you good at?
I was good at networking. I was good
talking shit,
at managing up. No, I was good, and I was good at fixing things that were broken internally in businesses. So,
what does that mean?
Well, any businesses I ever got put in charge of are failing businesses inside. Like,
so you're working for Westpac and you're getting failed business put in front of you.
No, I got into some areas that were pretty average there, but I only left Westpac because the place almost in itself broke, and they employed a CEO called Bob Joss as an American. He said, "I want people to leave and come back." No one ever left in those days, and it was pretty tough times that we had.
Why did he want people to leave and come back?
Because bring other experience back. I was never going back.
Right.
But I left and found my way to this other place called AMS, which was owned by AMP Investments, and I had two bosses there that really believed in me.
And you're in your mid-20s at this point?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And I had two blokes that believed in me, and they said, "I want you to go and find." They gave me a Diners Club card and said, "I want you to go and find customers and do whatever comes naturally to you." So,
and what was that?
Going to lunch and drinking beer and talking shit. So,
and doing what types of deals?
It was a wholesale lending business. It was the world with securitization. So,
so
it was
lending money.
Yeah, it was lending money, but big chunks of it.
And residential, commercial businesses.
Well, it was actually lending. It was backed by residential mortgages, but it was actually lending big chunks. Like, Aussie Home Loans used to lend money. That's that type of business.
Right.
So and it was actually not very hard, but it sounded really hard, and everybody wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
At one minute, it was the unsexiest part to be, and then all of a sudden, it became really sexy. And
what year was this? Is this the 80s?
This is 90s.
Right. What were the interest rates back then?
Rates would have been like they weren't that expensive. They were probably compared to now, they were probably 10%.
Yeah.
10.5, 11s, and 12s.
So you're putting through deals. You're loving that.
Got
a lot.
Given confidence. Yeah, yeah. And then I remember Jack was born, and I was sitting there with April, and there was a job. I was like 29, and a job came up, and it was second. I was actually studying with a guy who was actually in charge of Michael Page in Australia, a plumbing guy. And he said,
"Who's Michael Page? Should I know?"
Michael Page is a big recruitment company, and he said, "This is a job you should go for. It's like second in charge of Bank of New Zealand."
Yeah.
NAB bought it. They paid $1. It sent itself broke.
Right.
It was actually like owned by the New Zealand government. They'd lent to a whole lot of entrepreneurs, and they sent themselves spectacularly broke. They banked, they banked bonds, Case, all these other New Zealand entrepreneurs. So they had a whole lot of bad debts. NAB paid $1 for it. NAB only really wanted it for the New Zealand part of the business, and and I got the job. I was totally.
What was the job?
It was like head of sales for the bank,
right,
in those days, which was a bank that was.
So NAB's just acquired this.
Just acquired it, and it was really just a side hustle for them. They wanted the New Zealand business.
Right. So then you're with NAB.
Yeah, I was with Nat.
What about those two blokes you worked for who had belief in you in your mid-20s?
Ross and I still stay in touch
What's
with
one
them.
thing you learnt from those blokes?
I learnt to, one, treat people with respect and have fun.
Yeah.
And back people to the hill.
What does that look
and be
like?
loyal. It looks like
Back people.
always over promote and tell someone they can do the job.
So
Don't
like staff your teammates?
Yep. Don't take the safe bet.
Right.
Take the one who's going to take the one back attitude and commitment over anything on a bit of paper because they'll deliver for you.
Who's the NRL coach that most aligns to that in your head?
There's not many NRL coaches that align to that because they don't take risks because it's probably the highest salary they're ever going to earn.
Yeah.
If it's an NRL coach, Bellamy seems to take a fair few duds and turn them around and does the best with the least. I don't think there's any new age ones that do that because they're like racehorses, aren't they? Out of sort of the Bennett or aren't they all out of the Bennett Robinson at East? There's only a few that throws coaches out, so they've all got the same playbook, aren't they?
So then through your 30s and your 40s, like you've just always been in the industry, right?
Well,
lending, now you've got your own business.
Well, I always wanted to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And an opportunity came up. It's another business that was sort of failing. It was a wholesale business in ANZ, and they said, we don't want to grow this business anymore. We want someone to take it over. And a good mate of mine and best mate, Brett Hartley, said, why don't we come and do this?
Right.
So we set up an office in 1 Market Street, and I grabbed the thermal fax from April's dad's panel beating shop.
So what?
The old thermal fax, you know, the old lock fax that used to come out like it was a landline fax. Grab that.
Right.
And
right.
we used to do the fit out. We got paid a big incentive. We got paid about an 80 grand incentive to take the lease on the property, but
From the landlord.
Yeah, but we got Brett's mate in, Bobby, to do the fit out. So we'd work all day. We only had 2 other offsiders, and then we'd put our footy shorts and t-shirts on and do all the clean out of a night and do the fit out. And that was a business called MAS. That was sort of where I went into business myself. Yeah, Mortgage Asset Services in the city.
Yeah. Right.
And then First Point became a customer.
What you've got now.
Yeah, became a customer of
MAS.
we decided to build our own brand, and all of a sudden, you don't leave school and say I want to be a mortgage broker unless you've got something wrong with you. So you just, you find yourself somewhere.
Yeah.
So I never really had a plan of what I wanted to do.
Right. So you fell into this, fell into that.
Yeah. I'd never had a plan that said I wanted to be a pilot, or I just sort of found my way through. I was lucky enough to have some pretty good mentors on the way through, or some good mentors for me.
Yeah.
And took a few risks, but man, I've had my fingers in so many different things.
What's one of the biggest risks you've taken over the years?
Leaving a really good job on really, really good money to go to nothing.
From NAB?
Yeah, from Homeside, NAB,
right.
And starting my own thing.
At what age?
I would have been about 32, so I was late.
You had your kids then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had 2 kids, couple of properties with not much debt, and by the time you're 3 years in, you've got a lot of debt on the 2 properties, and you're going, am I really doing the fucking right thing here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you wake up at 3:30 in the morning looking at the ceiling.
Yeah. What's your theory on if you're not waking up at 3:30 in the morning?
It's funny, isn't it? It's like Stockholm syndrome. I always say to you, if you're not waking up at 3:30 in the morning, look at the ceiling, sometimes you're not trying hard enough. And I used to drive through that airport tunnel sometimes at 6 in the morning going, what the fuck am I doing? Like driving into the city to park the car, to go to the office and going, Jesus, I've got a line of credit on that investment property. It keeps going up.
Yes.
And I tell April, we're flying, but it seems to be every time we're growing, the cost of growing is killing us because you've got to put money in.
And when that line of credit's going up, how are you feeling?
Vulnerable. And
then what's
anxious.
your behaviour? What's your acting? Like, how are you?
You're acting normal because you don't know any better.
Are you the guy that says everything's okay, nothing to see here?
Yeah, everything.
Positive?
You'd never know. You've known me for a long time. You never know what's going on.
Yeah.
But then when things turn and they become good, weirdly, and you'll know this, you're growing out, when you miss it. Weirdly, you go, when things are going really smoothly in life,
yes,
you almost glamorize those hard days. And now I look back and go, what the fuck are you thinking? They were terrible. Like driving to that airport tunnel some mornings, almost going to sleep. And then sometimes I'd miss it when it was like, when things were like settled and going really well, I'd miss it. And I'm thinking, is there something wrong with me? But now I think, that's all the foundation of being vulnerable is good, because being vulnerable means you care about letting people you love down and letting yourself down. But there's no easy path. And if it comes easy, you know what? Sometimes if it comes easy, you're going to lose it easy. And everybody's book's different.
Why is that? If it comes easy, why do you
Because
lose
it's
it easy?
a fluke.
Yeah.
If it's like, if you had an arbitrage in a market, like you got it, but it was easy to copy, then you won't have it for long. You just got lucky. You're not smarter than the average bear. You just got lucky. Like And it's hard to differentiate yourself from what we do. You just got to be really good because there's 1,000 small businesses that do what we do. So you just got to be better at what you're doing. You've got to have better relationships. You've got to have a better hand on the business.
Yeah.
But, you know, coming back to all that, there's good things about being an entrepreneur and there's bad things. And not everybody's should do it. Because
what are the bad things?
The bad things is dealing with failure consistently or dealing with the anxiety of possibly failing for some people. Because
and then when you say people, oh, sorry, keep going. Because what?
Because it's not a proven track all the time. There's going to be bumps, and if you like doing, like I always like to do it with people, you know, because
partners.
Yeah, like the guys that you know the guys at work now, and because it's like owning a racehorse. You win the Melbourne Cup and you've only got yourself to have a beer with. It's not going to be much fun.
Yeah.
So you've got to do it with people that you care about, you love, and you know you've got John, Chris, and Greg, and a whole lot of other younger people under them. Yeah,
Greg's still there.
Greggy's still there. Yeah, he's killing it.
So when you say there's people that shouldn't do it, shouldn't do entrepreneurship, shouldn't open a business.
I think you look at someone who's a really, really good lawyer and they're in a big partnership and they're making lots of money. Some of them do really well in that structured spot, but going and becoming a suburban, moving from that ivory tower and going, it's not for them. Being a partner in a large accounting firm, it's not for them. That's not a slide. It's actually they'll do better and they're going to have better customers. They're going to have better customer outcomes. They're going to have a better life long term.
So you've seen heaps of small businesses, right, and large businesses over the years. What would you call a small business turnover, like roughly?
Oh,
small business. So like.
5
to 10 staff, 2 to 5 million. Is that it? Or
I think it's a bit less. I think it's about 1.5 to 5
million.
Yeah, and then above that you get small mediums, probably 5 to 6 above.
Yeah, let's
turnover.
Talk about small, right?
But you got to look at your GP as well, gross profit. So if you're turning over 2 million, but your GP's like high, you're in a better business than someone that's turning over like 14 million and their GP's so low they're making widgets.
Have you seen differences in the way businesses were run 20 years ago for success and now for success? Like, or is there a lot of commonality? I think principles.
I think it's a lot better now. I think the fixed costs are a lot less. The tech costs are a lot less. In early days, people spent a lot of money on tech for no return. Now you can buy a laptop, you can buy a CRM off the shelf that's a lot cheaper. Everything's bolt on. So SME businesses should just have bolt on stuff. Building your own tech is sometimes a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
So plenty of businesses think they're going to be the next, Zuck or Musk or anything when they're so interesting, those people, aren't they? Like I can't relate to that because, I'm a dead set battler compared to those people. Their minds are so expansive and how they think and how they operate. But yeah, I think you got to look at your GP first.
Yeah. And then let's just talk about, give me like the 3 most important things that got to happen to have a successful business.
You've got to be well capitalized.
Oh, that's huge, isn't it?
If you have undercapitalized.
So what does that mean? What's your definition of well capitalized?
You've either got to have a lot of money that you're willing to put in early to make sure it works because it's going to cost more than you think.
Yep.
You've got to be really well capitalized and you've got to have a fallback for partners. But I say to people, before you bring investors in or before you go to raise capital, think about what your business is worth in 5 to 10 years. Think about if Facebook gave up 15% of their business for $1 million at the start because $1 million seemed like a lot of money and they could have gone. So small-minded people think they can pay their mortgage off and buy a car, but big thinkers would say, no way, I'll take that. I believe in my model. I believe in my business. Yeah.
But so with that capitalized, like with the capital initially, it's like obviously to get the business off the ground, but what about like money in the bank for the first, how many, you like in 2 months, 3 months, years?
I reckon you've got to look at 2.5 years of not making any positive steps forward, and you've got to budget for twice as much capital as you think.
So how do people get the capital these days to have money in the bank for 24 months?
Well,
plus like for a tribe, for example, the fit
out
hard. Plus money in the bank for 2 years. Like we wouldn't have been able to have the loan capacity to have money in the bank for 4 years. So we just had to get it off the ground quick.
Well, you've got a lot of them bring investors in.
Right.
Gyms are hard to find investors for because they're
shit.
No, I just think they're key man. They're not replicable. They're key man focused. Yeah, they're key man driven. The other one's culture. You got to have a good culture.
So capital, culture. You're doing the 3 C's here.
No. And eventually you got to have a path to profitability.
And what do you mean by that?
You got to punch out a profit. Everybody's got to get a dividend. Otherwise, why are you doing it?
Do you remember when I showed you an Excel spreadsheet on Tribe projections and that? Do you know what you said to me?
I've never seen a spreadsheet that doesn't make money. didn't I?
You said every business looks good on a spreadsheet. What you need to do is halve your turnover on the top line and double your expenses, and that's where we're probably going to end up.
Yeah. I've never seen a pitch deck with a new idea that doesn't make money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen plenty halfway through, and I've been involved in some that aren't making money.
Mm.
And it tells you a lot about people because they go to shit. They get wobbly at the knees.
Yeah.
That's why, I suppose, because the businesses I had to run were shit businesses and they'd failed. Because who else would put me in charge of something with a big brand that hadn't failed? Because I was never going to get the Brisbane Broncos job. That I learnt how to make these things work. You've got to, and you know what? You don't throw the old out. It's not. You don't want. And I come back to my conversation that was pissed me off about the news that it's cookie cutter. You want a whole lot of different people. I loved having the 46-year-old bloke that had been divorced and he looked like Columbo, and I wanted the guy that was like 36 on the way up that was really aggressive and wanted him a job. You need a good mix of people.
How do you go working with different people?
I love it.
They're different, right? And do they annoy you? Do you clash?
No.
You must clash.
I don't clash with anyone.
That's not true. That can't be true.
No,
you would differ of opinion, right?
Yeah, but you're allowed to have a different opinion. I'm not offended by someone. I'm not offended by someone with a different opinion. Everybody in the world is, but unless you're hard left leaning, then I hate your opinion.
With someone, how does that play out? Just they give their view, you give your view.
And if there's got something in their view that I can validate and I can use, I'll listen to it.
Yeah. Well, so if Greggy Collins, your long-term business partner, was sitting here right now, would he say that you are talking SH?
No, he wouldn't. He'd only say it to you. He wouldn't say it to me because I think he's got enough respect to know that I've got a pretty good barometer of where we should go.
So capital, culture. What was the third thing? Did you tell us the third thing?
Path to profitability.
Oh yeah. So let's come back to culture. What is that? Everyone throws around the culture word.
Well, culture's good when you're winning. You never. You never know how to test someone until times get really tough. You've got to have the person sometimes it's the person you least expect that surprises you the most because they dig in.
What's digging in look like?
Digging in looks like holding your nerve and actually someone sees you coming in and they go, I respect that, because it's when you've got a frown on your face or anything else, people lose confidence. When you're in there and you've got energy. And people that put fake, people like high achievers always blow up. You go to school and they get 99.5 ATAR. You know what? They've got that many options. They're this wide. Yeah. But when you've got options that wide, you can tell what someone's about. And you know why they blow up? Because they've never faced adversity.
Because it was all easy.
When you've failed at fucking heaps of things, you have faced adversity in life. And when you've faced, when you've seen people die and that you loved, not much can worry you in life about things like that. So you just say, well, you know what? I've got a bit of a saying, well, no one's got brain cancer, so we're going to get through this.
Yeah.
Because people catastrophize too. But then you'll always come out the other side. It'll be better than you think, because actually these tough times make you a better business, because you work out what's important and what your key parts of your business are about. But then there's 5 people who actually save a business when it turns around as well, in anything.
Can you talk a bit about Brett, or do you not?
No, I don't mind talking about Brett at all. I love talking about.
Tell who he was to you, and then what happened.
Yeah, well, Brett was my best mate. We met at Westpac, Brett Hartley, and we came through together.
So age 20, like young?
Young, yeah, like 19.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a couple of years younger than me, and we were best mates, and went through, and he travelled overseas. I got married. He came back, and I said, mate, you've got to get into the securitisation industry. It's like the great rock and roll swindle. They give you a credit card. He went to Rabobank, and I said, mate, don't tell anyone about it. Keep it our secret. Like, this is where there's no one with PhDs. There's no smart people in banking. You and I will be the smartest blokes in this. So we could be the number 1 or 2. So just don't tell anyone else about it. So he came back, and we set up MAS together. Right. In those early days, went through. He was fit as a fiddle. You met him a few times. Yep. He had the biggest, most infectious smile, fit as a fiddle.
Loved his rugby union.
Loved his union. Well, he actually was a leaguey, but he made out he loved union when the Wallabies were winning. Right. He would have gone back to league now. He was, right. But about 8.5 years ago, 10 years ago, we were walking to meet a guy we were involved in, Tim Holmes, who passed away as well, funnily enough, before Brett, an older bloke from a heart attack. He was a mentor of mine. We were walking on the street, going to Machiavelli's for lunch, and I used to just follow. I got no direction. I go, where the fuck are we going? Yeah. And he looked at me, he goes, mate, I don't even know where we're going. I've got no direction. He goes, I've got this really bad headache. So we went and had lunch, had a couple of big glasses of red each and a beer. And he said, I'm going to go home and go to the doctor. Anyway, didn't come in the next morning. And Leah, his wife, rang me and said, oh, look, they thought it was a migraine, but they've done a scan. They've found a sort of a shadow on his brain. And it was a glioblastoma, which is the worst you can ever get. So he travelled the world trying to find a mend for it. But brain cancer, glioblastoma is like your mortality rate's like 100%. So he got about 2 and a bit years out and passed away. And if you looked at him, I was unfit, and that was sort of going through that. And that's when I was, April said to me, "You got cortisol flowing through you." I was like really unhealthy, but I didn't know. And she got me to go and get my bloods checked. And that cortisol, that was what it's like a stress that, that cortisol just flows through your
body.
It was like Tiger Blood with Charlie Sheen, except I had fucking cortisol.
I started watching that last night.
Yeah.
I fell asleep, but yeah.
It was Tiger Blood. Yeah, so that was facing death of a business partner who had a young family was a real test.
Yeah, how old he's got 2 boys? Is that
3
right?
boys.
3 boys.
Yeah. Well, Brady's overseas.
How old were the boys though when
young, all like babies.
12, 10, 8.
Less.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett less. It was
What's
terrible.
some things you like take away from all that, or things you've learned, or I don't know, noticed? I don't know. Things
Well,
that are in your head.
April's been fantastic in that situation to Leah as like a sister and a mother to the boys. We've had to, we brought them on. It's brought everybody closer together. It was a terrible time, but it tests you as well. It just shows you whatever you think is, whatever you think the end of the book's going to be, it's not. That's what I was going to say. Like, when you were talking about like the challenges that you've got the new business and you're running really hard, but your chapter could be you could be on chapter 4 and you're looking at people who have done it in their last chapter. So the exciting thing for you is you might have 15 more chapters to go in your book. Everybody sort of compares themselves, but really it's your book.
Your chapter 2, someone's chapter 10.
Exactly. Like you just got to sometimes say now, what's self-actualization like to me? And you go, I actually don't mind what I'm doing now, other than not being as stressed.
Have you ever been in a position with business, you got high debt and you're working hard, you're trying hard, and the things that you're doing just are not working?
Yeah,
That's the epitome of difficult, don't you reckon?
Yes, because
like it's okay to work hard and get a result. There's no dramas with that.
Yeah.
But when you're working hard and you're doing things and it's not working, that's stress, I reckon.
Yeah, sometimes it's not you. Sometimes if you're sitting on a good asset and a good brand or something else, it's worth it. Or you've got to be dogged and you've got to find another way through. You've got to find, and that sometimes it leads to another answer. You've got to be creative.
Yeah. So would you, like, if you're chopping down the tree with that same axe and the axe is just blunt, you got to either sharpen the axe or get a new axe, right? Or find a different tree to chop down. Do you reckon, like, change tact?
I think, well, fitness is really, to me, it's changed. Like the first gym I ever joined was at Cronulla Leagues. It was Paul Graham's gym. He had a cough because he was probably on commercial quantities of fucking steroids in those days. And it was it was like it had, Lou Ferrugio and Arnold on the wall, and it was a pretty hard.
Who owned that?
Actually, that's the lie. My first gym was Hot Pods.
Mick Chapman.
2-story head. That was a great gym there.
2-story head. His head's about this pitch.
Mick, I hope you're not listening.
I spoke to him yesterday. He's just around the corner from Tribe. Do you know that, Mick?
Yeah, he's a ripper. He knows a lot about training. But fitness is
smart man.
Fitness is really data driven now. Like you don't need 6 apps to tell you how well you slept, do you? People have got like Whoops.
Oh, that's a lot.
People have got apps for everything now. Like you just need to know how you're feeling yourself, don't you?
100%.
My key. I like to start Monday to Wednesday with a whole lot of structure in my life. I like to not leave anything unturned. Like I start Monday fast. I like to start Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, I'll leave like, okay, these are for some big decisions, and I like to leave a lot of time for thinking on Thursday and Fridays. But I like to have a lot of structure. Like I'm not someone who just wakes up one day and goes, oh, yeah, I might just go to Tribe now. I know exactly what I'm doing and everything else.
Monday to Wednesday.
But I think coming back to your question about, well, sharp, but I think that it's too data-driven sometimes. Fitness is too data-driven. So you've got to play the strengths of what people like.
Which is what you reckon in fitness?
Different people like different things.
What do you reckon the top 2 or 3 might be?
Buys and tries and chest. No. Big guns. I just want to have,
Remember when you used to bench press 100?
I used to bench press more. Yeah, but I was 140 kilos. I was popping out of every shirt. I had to get my shirts custom made. It wasn't a good look.
So you've lost 40, hey? No,
I lost about 30.
30.
Yeah, I reckon from a PB. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I think that fitness is a great thing. I think it's a really good. I do it for structure.
Yeah.
I don't want to have a 6-pack. I just do it for process and structure.
Do you know what you told me about people with a 6-pack?
There's no good blokes with a 6-pack. They've got no chat. Have you ever met a person with a 6-pack at the bar having a beer? Have you guys ever met? There's no one at the bar going, oh, that bloke's got a 6-pack. Let's go have a chat to him. He's got good jokes. They've got shit chat. It's like triathletes. They're the worst employees.
Because they just
Because
don't
all
say
they want
no.
to do, and their wives hate them, because all they want to do is get up and sneak out for a bike ride or go for a swim at lunch. You always see them running out to Kurnell. They've got zero chat. They might as well just go off into another. They might as well go to Tasmania and all live together and do weird shit. Six packs and triathletes.
Love that.
Don't employ them unless you're in personal training.
Any regrets in your life?
No, I haven't got any.
You're the type of person that was always going to say that.
I've been
No
blessed.
regrets.
I've been blessed. You can always have regrets are different.
Things you would have done differently, decisions, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't have 20/20 hindsight. I would have just taken the opportunities I take. There's heaps of heaps of paths I didn't go down, but they're not monetary. I've been lucky to have really good people in my life. I've been lucky to make a difference to lots of people. People still come up and say, I remember that conversation we had. So obviously I've left a mark on some people.
That's cool.
That I like. And, you know, I still love going to work every day.
Are you driven now as much as you were 20 years ago?
I'm actually more driven now
Are you
than
really?
I don't see myself as like finished. I don't see myself as going to get the bread and milk. I see myself having
so if 10's finished and 1's just starting, where are you?
6.
Yep.
I've got a purpose still.
Which is what?
Which is, well, I don't take a goal to do 10 years. I've never had a goal to just flick something and make money and do nothing, because doing nothing would be bad for me. You know, if I've left to my own devices, you know, with how my brain works, I'll make bad decisions.
Yeah.
So my goal is always to, one, be a big part of it. I look at two businesses in my head. I look at a business called St. George Building Society once that a lot of people's mums and dads and grandparents had set up in Hurstville. And it was a really big community thing that grew and grew and grew. The bank was a building society that started. Yeah. But everybody in the Southern Shire and St. George area loved that. And I look at Latrobe.
What's your point about saying that?
I'll come back to it. I look at Latrobe, which is a big business in Melbourne that started in the 50s. And the bloke that owned it said, I'll never retire. And he actually died at about 90 at a Collingwood. He loved Collingwood, at a Collingwood game in the corporate box there. Right. Business has been sold a few times, but they were involved in the business, but it was a big part of the community and it affected the community. So my thing is, with First Point, I see that as a brand I want to build. As, you know, I want to walk out the door and leave it for others, but I don't see it as something we ever want to bundle up and sell and take a chunk of cash for it or anything else.
Right. Because so just keep on keeping on.
Just keep on keeping on. You've got to have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
You've got to have somewhere to turn the aircon off in the night and walk out.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, remember Cheers? That was a really sad episode when it ended. They turned the lights out. I don't want that. Right. You don't want the music to stop, do you?
Yeah. Just keep on going.
Yeah. Like everybody thinks, you remember when you think, oh, when I get my first car, BMW with leather interior and everything else, it's going to change my life. 2 months later, you go, fuck, I've got the lease payment. I've got a car I don't even like and it's still dirty. Doesn't change your life. Remember you get the house you think is the best house you ever own and you love it. And then really it's not. It doesn't change your life. It's the mark you leave on other people that changes your life and the things you can do for others and the things that good people do for you. And always be prepared to get let down. People are always going to let you down. But it's not because they're bad people. It's just because that's human.
Are you sensitive to that? Or are you pretty just...
No, I used to be. I used to be sensitive to people that let me down. But it wasn't their fault. I used to take it for granted that I do this for some others and they do it for me. But then you live and learn. It doesn't happen. But you don't hold them to account for it because they don't mean to. Because we're all fallible, aren't we?
Yeah.
What do you think?
In regard to...
people letting you down?
I get a little bit like... sensitive to that still, probably. I'm like, oh, that was a bit of a shit thing.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
But you're pretty focused still, aren't you?
Then I'm like, but having said that, then the next day after a good night's sleep, I'm like, okay, that's done.
Do you think you care too much sometimes because you had to work so hard at footy to play those one trial match in the first grade game?
I try hard, don't I? I do care hard, try hard, probably a bit captain serious sometimes, probably trying to find it hard to pull back a bit.
Do you think personal trainers have got so much structure that they get so focused they sometimes can't go outside the rail lines and they've got to loosen up a bit?
I think it's a PT thing because we've had a lot of trainers who don't fit that mould as well. I think it's just an individual thing.
Yeah. I just think PT sometimes are so structured. They expect their clients to be so structured and it can't be.
Yeah.
Because you find your way to structure because you let yourself down and then you find a place to go. Like Tribe's a wonderful place. Look at the differences. You haven't made any difference for me because I'm a pain in the arse there. I'm like the most explosive athlete at Tribe as every... Adam Dykes told me the other day. He didn't really. I'll make it up. I'm the most explosive athlete in Tribe. That's bullshit. I just made that up. But you guys have made a difference to so many people.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool. Like, there's so many people that have come there and come out better people. And it's not because they were going to run a marathon. Or they've done things they couldn't do.
Mm.
To me, it was just because, you know.
I get caught up in the business stuff a lot often, especially now with trying to growing Kirawheat. And then you forget that whole, what you were just saying, people have done, you've impacted people, you've helped people, smell the roses, feel the joy, feel the love.
Look at LG. He's got a 6-pack now, so no one speaks to him. But I think it could be one of those implanted
It'll be gone
ones
in 3 days.
from
after
Turkey.
Hamilton.
Yeah. Look at Kingy. He's possibly one of the most explosive athletes.
Matt King.
In Tribe. He's part of your big three, like the Melbourne Storm. Matt King's one of your big three.
Well, let's finish on a bit of sport. Favourite sport?
Oh, I love rugby league. But at this time of year, I start to get the shits with it.
Do you?
I'm over the season now. Sharks are out.
Mm.
But can I ask you one quick question? Because I know we're going to go for 3 hours, but you cut me into 45 minutes.
Mm.
And this is a coaching question because you wanted to be a coach once.
Mm.
How come there's no Queenslanders that can actually coach other than Wayne Bennett? They've got great spirit, but I don't think they're good communicators.
Billy Slater?
He doesn't coach NRL. I'm talking NRL. Coaching 3 games a year is not coaching.
You've stumped me. I got nothing.
Favourite sport? Rugby league at the moment.
Favourite team?
I love golf. Actually, I like golf more than rugby league.
Right.
That's a hobby of mine.
Yeah. So that's your summer fix?
Yeah.
Yeah. NRL now compared to 20, 30 years ago?
Oh, it's miles ahead.
How good is it?
It's unbelievable. It's a product. It's a sport.
Yeah.
Women are playing it. The women's thing's the best thing they've ever done.
Best leader of the NRL ever?
Best leader? There's too many.
Have to be Volandis.
Sorry. On the field, I was going to say Norm Proven's pretty high, but Volandis. He's done a great job. Well, he corporatized it. He took it, mate, regardless of anything. And if you wanted to ever talk to someone and sit down with someone about overcoming adversity, the bloke pulled the whole thing through COVID, kept it going.
He was the first. NRL was the first sport to come back.
Yeah.
After COVID in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And television, people watching it around the world. No, it was globally. He got the game back on TV fast and put them all up there, and he moved fast. If you want to talk to anyone, I'd get him for a podcast. He's got bad kit. He dresses poorly. I think he's dressing at Lowe's, but he'd be sponsored. But he's a Wollongong boy, but he'd have some
pull at a gate, right? Just makes things happen.
Yeah, I think he could be hard to work with. I think
Abdo looks quite.
I think Abdo does all the work, and Volandis takes a lot of the credit. I think
accommodating.
Yeah, I think Volandis has the 2-line answer, but Abdo's the one who's asking the question.
Thinking, yeah. Okay, so let's finish off with so a couple of things. What is there recurring advice that you give to Remy, your daughter, and Jackie's son as they find their way through life?
I think don't be super focused and try different things in life.
Don't be super focused, and you should try different things in life.
Don't be one-dimensional like me. I just tried too hard to be mediocre. Well, I don't mind being mediocre because every now and again I surprise myself. And seriously, I think I'm very mediocre at a lot of things I do. But every now and again I surprise myself. Try different things because you're going to learn a lot more about yourself. Don't just get stuck.
Yeah.
So anybody out there that's young now, I'd say don't get stuck. If you hate it, don't do it.
Right. Don't get stuck in the one industry.
Don't get stuck in the one industry. And you know what? If you're lucky enough, find someone that loves you. I've been lucky enough to have, a loving family. I just want them to have the same thing I had in life. Because that's the best thing you can ever have. If you've got stability at home and you've got someone that cares and loves you, for all my faults, April's always been my biggest supporter.
That's awesome.
And that's not a throwaway line, babe. I didn't want to include you there, but that's important in life. Have someone who loves you and don't settle. That's all. That's my advice to anyone out there who's young.
Don't settle for anything, right?
Yeah. And don't believe all these self-help books and all these high achievers.
Do you read that sort of stuff?
No, because they're full of shit.
How do you get your learnings? Is it just through doing and learning and making mistakes?
Through talking to guys like you and the guys here in the studio, young people, and learning from them because they're doing some really amazing stuff for young guys here in the studio. I can just walk in and see they've got a vibe and they're doing some interesting stuff and they're doing it for themselves. The last thing I want to see is go to a conference to see someone who's sold 6 businesses or climbed fucking Mount Everest or done 5,000 spin classes in a row. Like, I'll go to lunch and have a bowl of peanut and listen to one of them. I want to hear real people with real battle scars in life. I prefer to hear you tell me your story. I don't need a story of someone who's won 3 grand finals in a row because I can't even relate to it. Can you? Well, you probably won 3 in a row as a kid, but.
Back in the day. No, that's cool. Yeah, okay. Anything else in your head?
Oh, so much shit in my head.
What else? Just give me one more thing to finish off. What else is bottling around there?
I worry about the iPhone. I worry about how it's one of the best things we've ever had. But it could be the worst addiction anyone's ever going to have. How do we get off? Like, we talk about cigarettes and everything else.
Proper bad, hey?
I don't know if these young kids these days are getting so much head noise, and I think it could be from the iPhone.
Yeah.
I think less people are dying from cigarettes and dying from what's in our hand and what we see, because you can't unsee some of this shit.
Yeah.
And all it does is make people feel bad about themselves, and they shouldn't.
Yeah. We can't go backwards, though. It's
No,
it's
we
not
won't go
going anywhere,
backwards.
is
It's
it?
got to change.
How's that going to change? Social media is just going to keep on keeping
Yeah,
on, right?
and I think AI is going to be really interesting, but I don't think it's going to be like the internet, which was the worldwide highway. It'll be. I don't think it's done anything super yet. It'll actually be amazing, like where we've come with technology, but it won't be what you think it's going to be. I had this famous comment I used once years ago. I said, the future's not what it used to be. I still think that with AI, the future's not what it used to be, but we don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And one other thing, imagine if people with AI, what if people stop getting married and people have like robots, and is that weird? But
As a
people actually
partner.
don't, there's people who won't have intimacy and won't breed because they end up having relationships with like robots and AI.
That's got to stop. That can't happen.
Well, you got to regulate it. There's fucking weirdos out there that will. But if there's any robots that want to join Tribe at the moment and
Get them in there,
get a
mate.
direct debit, you can start at Kirrawee.
Annuity, is that what you call it?
Annuity income.
Best thing ever.
Get your direct debits happening, guys.
Troy Phillips, thank you, mate, for being
Thanks,
on
Cap.
Tribe Talk. You're always excellent entertainment.
Cheers,
Love
mate.
you. Thanks, buddy.
No worries.
Legend.
Thanks, buddy.
You got me.